Good evening, humans. Haiti Oropesa with Florida U Judge, and tonight we have a judicial candidate who's running for a county court seat in Hillsborough County, Group 14. Shortly, in the next couple of minutes, we're gonna have Linette Starr Brookins, who's running for um, as a judicial candidate to fill that seat, that county court seat in Hillsborough County. So she's going to chat with us a little bit, introduce herself so that the public can know a little bit about her and her candidacy. So I'm going to give a couple of minutes so that some of you hopefully will get notified and know that shortly I'm going to have a little chat with and introduce to you candidate Linette Starr Brookins, who's running for in Hillsborough County, Group 14 for a county court seat. So I'm just going to give a couple of minutes for you all to join. You can try, but I won't stop, won't stop, won't stop, won't stop, won't stop. You can try, but I won't stop, won't stop. I can't be stopped now, I can't stop. I can't be stopped now, I can't stop. I can't be stopped now, I can't stop. You can try, but I won't stop, won't stop. Lions, tigers, bears are my king of the jungle. I stand for the pride. Beat on my chest, that's the rhythm inside. I got so much heart, I'm burning with fire. Can't stop, won't stop till I drop. Keep climbing for the top. Simmer down, you too loud, people around. You can try, but I won't stop, won't stop, won't stop, won't stop. Won't stop. You can try, but I won't stop, won't stop. I can't be stopped now, I can't stop. I can't be stopped now, I can't stop. I can't be stopped now, I can't stop. You can try, but I won't stop, won't stop. No more sleep till I rest in peace. No excuse till I die. No to all negativity. This is how we will live in free. Come to anyone who wants. Good evening, Florida U Judge viewers. Thanks for joining in and tuning in. We're going to be starting shortly live with judicial candidate Linette Starr Brookins, who's running for a county court seat in Hillsborough County. I'm going to have a brief conversation for her. I wanted her to introduce herself to the community. She's going around and meeting the public and attending various events as she engages the community and lets the community members, voters know who she is, why she's running, why she wants to serve Hillsborough County as the next judge in County Court Group 14. Won't stop. I can't be stopped now, I can't stop. I can't be stopped now, I can't stop. I can't be stopped now, I can't stop. You can try, but I won't stop, won't stop. I can't stop. We're live. If you'd like to call in, you can call in at call-in number 813-221-9700. She's live. Call in, ask her a question if you'd like. There's canons that do regulate what she can answer. But she's an incredible personality, very kind, warm, is very, very qualified to serve as a judge here in the state. And so I would like to, at this time, we're going to go ahead and stop this share. And welcome, Starr Brookins. Linette Starr Brookins. How are you this evening, ma'am?
I'm doing well. How are you? Thanks for having me on.
I'm doing great. God is good. And you know what? We are blessed. We just went through a very hard, for me, 2 years, not just a pandemic, but I got kind of walloped in 2021. But you know what? I'm still standing. God is good, and there are many things to be thankful for. I'm glad you're on. I want you to address. Let's chat a little.
Yeah.
You're not just a candidate that I met while you're out interacting. You've been a public servant for a very long time, and not just now that you're running. And so I've had a chance to sit down and break bread with you. I remember we went to a Cuban eatery out in Hillsborough some years ago, and it was incredibly pleasant to engage with you and to interact with you. My mom was there that afternoon.
She was.
and her memory of you is one that she if she's asked about you, she'll let whomever know that you are a really nice, pleasant person. So why do you want to run for judge?
Thank you. I appreciate that. I think it's so important that we have a judge, especially for a county court judge seat, since it's the people's court, right? So that we have a judge that's committed to our society, that's committed to serving within the public. And that's something that I've done for a very long time. I think the first time I ever received an award for being out in the public was the humanitarian award when I was a junior in high school. So that was over 22 years ago. And I've just continued that service and grown through that service. I come from a family of law enforcement and military professionals, and they have the capacity of serving for all of us in that way. And this is my way of giving back. And through that experience, I've had an opportunity to develop a very strong respect for and adherence to the rule of law. And that's something that is not just a motto for me, but that's something that I actually practice because I'm also a hearing officer for the county. So I preside over cases and make determinations. And, a lot of times, very sympathetic cases, these are people's entire livelihoods that I have to decide. And I think they respect the fact that I allow them to be heard, that I show respect to everyone, and that I exercise that humility and restraint. And I think that that's necessary for our judiciary in order to preserve the integrity of that institution, that we have people that show that they are committed to this community.
Okay, so that's interesting. A couple of things there. You already come with this added experience. You're already actually adjudicating, hearing matters, and making decisions. So can you tell us a little bit about that? What type of cases do you hear?
Yeah, so it's under the public vehicles driver's licenses ordinance within Hillsborough County. So people who are taxi cab drivers, they have to reapply every several years. And so if something comes up or if something is flagged, or in most of the cases that I hear, there was a new ordinance passed whereby people with certain backgrounds, criminal backgrounds, could no longer re up their ability to serve in that position. And the statute is very, very clear as to what that looks like. And so in those cases, they come before me. A lot of it is pro se. So litigants appearing without attorneys, which I think is integral because you see that a lot in county court, right? People who do not have attorneys coming in, and they just want someone to be respectful, someone that'll listen to them, that even if they don't agree with their position and have to follow the law and are bound by that, that they at least are a place where they can come to and they don't feel like they're demeaned. They're treated like a human being and they're given that utmost respect.
You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and go out on a limb and vouch for you. I may not. I usually don't do that unless I'm absolutely certain. But I know you. I've had meaningful interactions with you, and I know without a doubt I vouch and endorse you completely. This is a forum that I know that there's other people in your race, and so yeah, I am biased in your favor. But listen, this forum is open to your up those who are also running in your group, so that they can fully be heard and be able to address, just like you're now, the public, and tell them there's good persons running in your group. I support you because I think you are qualified, and I think that you have what it takes. One of the things that you're mentioning, respect a judge when they sit there. They're like you said, it's the people's court. They're there to serve, and to something that's lost with people that are in government, I think, is that they forget that. They forget it's not like they're not celebrities or rock stars. They're a public servant. They're
Right.
supposed to have embody humility and patience, and understand that a lot of people that come before them are stressed out because they have issues that can impact them financially, their family, their liberty. So that's very important. I am right now coordinating with some colleagues to run a judicial survey. And one of the categories that we did one back in 2014, 2015, we're thinking that several years have passed and we want to do another one. But one of the categories in that survey is demeanor. Um, that's something that I always ask about, because it's very important that people are treated with respect. And listening, how important is that? If you don't listen to everything that you're supposed to listen to, what happens?
You
What
miss out
happens?
on information. You don't have all the information. So how can you make a good decision if you don't even have all of the information? And that's imperative, and that's a unique listening skill, even if it isn't something that you may agree with at the very least. And I feel like, and we've had this conversation before, I feel like a lot of the professionalism, is not what it used to, what it used to be. And so if somebody disagrees with us, then we automatically stop listening to them. But so much is lost in that, and just bringing people together and just being focused on listening and actually hearing each other and understanding each other. And I think that takes it to another level. And I even have it because I started out in children's legal services. I started out in prosecutorial work in child welfare. And so I was taking their children away, right? I was terminating their parental rights. I was giving them case plans. And one of the mothers whose rights I terminated, she invited me to her sobriety celebration. Meanwhile, some of my colleagues are being protested against in the streets. That was a regular occurrence. But, I took that opportunity to speak life into these individuals because unfortunately it's very cyclical, and they've never had someone who said, you can break this cycle. You alone can break this cycle. Let's just go through these steps together and get you the help that you need. So it's really important to have someone there who is an effective listener and who isn't just staring out into the abyss, but taking what you say and doing something with that information.
All right, so I'm gonna speak as a private attorney. I handle cases out here in Pinellas in the general Tampa Bay area. But one thing I always make a mental note, especially when I have to um give a rating as to the different categories. I make note of which um judges, and they exist, that are very respectful to everyone that comes before them, and they're very professional. But then there's some judges sometimes that my perception is that they care sometimes more about moving cases quickly, and sometimes, yeah, you can't waste time. You got to kind of focus in on what's relevant and what information is what they need to hear, because sometimes people do talk about things that are not relevant, right? And you do have to kind of maximize the time that you have, because there's tons of cases. But um yeah, sometimes I look at judges, and I question whether they care more about moving cases than actually giving the required necessary time to hear person, so that they can adjudicate a matter correctly. Tell us a little bit more about yourself. Tell us a little bit. Are you your parents were in the military?
Yeah, so my dad is retired military, retired Army. My uncle's retired Army, a long line. My dad also retired from Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office. My stepmom retired from Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office. My mom is actually a current elected official. She won her election in 2020 and became the first African American to attain the seat of Soil and Water Conservation Supervisor. So,
Interesting.
that I really had a great opportunity to interact more with the agricultural community because they are the livelihood of us existing. So I think I grew a huge, huge, even more so than I had before, respect for that community. We have a family forum out in Archer. So I kind of grew up around it, but I think it's just different whenever someone is serving in that capacity. My mom's also a retired teacher. So I come from a family of public servants. I was raised this way. A lot of people say, these candidates come for a short period of time and then they leave and you never see them again until election time. I'm very proud of the fact that my mom has remained committed and stayed within our community. And I think that that's demonstrative of exactly what I'm going to do as well. I've been in this community. I'm a fourth generation Tampa native. I've been in this community. I love this community and I only want the best for this community. So, like my mom, I'm also going to stay extremely active and keep my pulse on the community because I do think that that's very important and that judges should not just be on the bench and that's it and go home. Judges have to give back to their community while they're also on the bench.
Wow, that's great. So let's go ahead and you want to talk about some of your endorsements?
Yeah, so as soon as I filed, I started getting some calls about endorsements. And I think it's just due to the fact that I've been out in the community for so long, right? So a lot of individuals have had that opportunity to get to know me. They've gotten to know a lot of the access to justice programs that I've implemented within society to help close that gap and help ensuring that everybody can get access to those resources and access to our courts. So I was very blessed to get our public defender, Julianne Holt's endorsement. She has received more accolades than I can count, and she is just a phenomenal person. So I was, and it still takes me back, right? Because I never would have thought, my family started, my great grandma, she was illiterate. She would have to take the bus everywhere because she didn't know how to drive. And just to come from such humble beginnings and just know that education got me here, and then being active in the community and getting to know people so that they can actually know me and put their name behind me. So I've gotten a lot of great endorsements. Nancy Milan, our tax collector who broke barriers in serving as that position. So I have a lot of bipartisan support, and I think that's
Who's
important.
this? Who's this? Who's this?
That's Dottie Grover Skipper. So her
Okay,
husband's retired HCSO as well. And she does a lot of work in the human trafficking arena. So
got it.
she lectures everywhere about that. She is an amazing woman, a woman of faith, a woman who is committed to this community. So it's just amazing getting to know her. I have Erin Abel, who's extremely active in the community. She's hosting an event for me. I
I
have,
don't think she's on here, right? She's not on here.
yeah, it's just a sampling of the endorsements on there. I have a lot more.
Okay, so who are these two? Okay, so we know who she is. Who's this gentleman, and how about her?
That's Representative Andrew Learned,
Okay,
and that's Marion Pollock. So she was a past Hillsborough County Bar Association president as well. So I've been getting some support also from the Hillsborough County Bar Association's past presidents. So lawyers. I was actually at a mediation the other day and was told, you're going to be every lawyer's favorite judge. And that is definitely a part of a legacy that I want to leave, because I think all lawyers, we have all been in the situation that we didn't want to be in, right? A judge was stuck in their ways and they didn't want to open their eyes and see beyond or learn new information, or just took their frustrations out on the litigants that appear before them and the lawyers that appear before them. It's been so different practicing and trying cases pre-pandemic versus post-pandemic. And I think the fact that I have had an opportunity to try those cases at both times gives me a different perspective. I've also been a government attorney. I'm currently in house. I've worked at large law firms. I've worked at mid sized law firms. So I understand the pressures that these attorneys are over. And sometimes I think that sometimes we just need a little bit of saving grace. And we just need, the courts are already so intimidating to most people. And I don't think you have to be intimidating in order to get respect. I just think you need to know your stuff. You need to be qualified. You need to be educated so that people do respect you. And that's how respect is earned. And that's how respect stays there. I don't think you have to be intimidating or put people down in order for that respect to be there. And so that's something that I want to bring to the bench if the citizens of Hillsborough County elect me.
so you have a well-rounded uh well-rounded experience. I'm gonna go ahead and include here your website information so the public can vet you. And again, even though I'm endorsing you, I support you. Um, want to be transparent about that. I welcome those who are in the same group running. I want them also, in fairness, I want them to put their discuss their candidacy with the public. Um, but you seem like a seem no, you are a very well qualified candidate in that you've done civil, criminal. You're serving as a hearing officer. You got the right stuff, Star. You do. Not only are you competent and qualified, but you're humble, you're warm, you're engaging, you're not arrogant. You're not gonna get what some people describe as robitis as soon as you
Right,
get on. You know, it's like a fiefdom, the bench. You know,
right.
ruling with an iron fist. No, you have the right stuff. So if the public wants to know more about Star, Linette Starr Brookins, look out for her name on the ballot. The election is August, this coming August. Yes.
August 23rd, 2022.
Okay. How many people are in that race? Do you
Right
know? Was it
now, there are one, two, me, four. There
okay?
are four, but
So
qualifying,
there could be a runoff. Yes.
there's definitely going to be a runoff. So we need to make sure that I can get through that runoff. So everybody can go and vote. If you're non-party affiliated, independent, you can go out and vote in the primary elections in August. And I am requesting that you vote for me because of that depth and breadth of expertise that I have. The courtroom is my second home. I'm comfortable there. I'm a hearing officer. I'm a teacher. I'm a senior trial attorney. But other than that, I'm very connected to this community. I have board service, bar service, and community service at both the local level and the statewide level. So I am very committed. I have an excellent academic pedigree, graduated from Jefferson High School here in Tampa as valedictorian of the Law and Criminal Justice Magnet Academy, graduated second in my entire class with a 5.52 GPA, went on to the University of Tampa, graduated there with a 3.89 GPA in 3 years with magna cum laude distinction. Then I went to George Washington Law School, a top 20 law school, and I graduated there as a presidential merit scholar. And then I came home and I served the people of our great state. So I really look forward to continuing that service, and I really hope that I can count on your vote. Please learn more about me. VoteBrookinsForJudge.com. Please feel free to email me. Let's grab coffee, let's grab dinner, and get to know me. My email address is votebrookinsforjudge@gmail.com. But I thank you so much for this opportunity.
For sure. So vote www.votebrookinsforjudge.com. Um and your resume is impressive. Very, very, very impressive. Thank you for coming on. This is for the benefit of the public so that they can get to know judicial candidates. A lot of times, sometimes it's scary that it's an important branch. It's the third important and equally important as the other branches. But sometimes, um, people that I know and persons in the public say, I don't know. They ask me, who do I vote for? I don't know about any of these candidates. So it's very important that you get familiarized with those who are running in your respective jurisdictions. And go vote. It's important.
Yes.
Star, it was great having you. You're gonna come on again. It's April, so we have some months before the big day. And thanks for coming on. Haiti Oropesa with Florida You Judge. For those of you who have tuned in, who will tune in and see this broadcast as a pre-record. Have a great evening and thanks for tuning in.
Thank you.